Dr. Mazin Qumsiyeh, many of you know and love. And he was born and raised under Israeli occupation in Beit Sahour, the biblical shepherd's field, where the angels sang on Christmas morn. Dr. Mazin is a scholar, a research scientist, an educator, and an activist. And his commitment to nonviolent resistance, education, environmental sustainability has made a significant contribution to advancing peace and education in Palestine. He was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize this year. We're honored to have you, Mazin.
So our thoughts are with the people of the Gaza Strip, of course, on this season. We try to maintain a balance between working on politics and human rights and challenging systems of oppression. That's on the one hand, and on the other hand, to do some of the Lord's work, as we say, in building things and doing things with children, etc. But come to think of it, Jesus was born just behind me here in Bethlehem. He had that dual mission. He was both challenging the Pharisees. As you know, these are the ones who used religion for political purposes and were making a lot of money from this. And they are still here, by the way, the Pharisees. And in many ways, their philosophy survived and prospered and continued in the form of something we call Zionism today. And Jesus, of course, challenged them and flipped the tables at the temple and so on and so forth. But Jesus also had a mission: let the children come to me, taking care of poor people, lepers. He told the rich people, you can't enter heaven, you have to give your money and resources, and so on. He had that Sermon on the Mount. That's a brilliant reading that everybody should read. And there's a version of it in Matthew and a version of it in Luke, as you know, slightly different. One is shorter, and the location seems to be different, but the gist of the message is the same. That the meek shall inherit the earth. That basically we should shed our egos and our habri, if you want, to arrive at the kingdom of heaven. That's what we want. So we Palestinian Christians, of course, follow that message. As I said, it's a duality, a message of activism and challenging the status quo and the powers to be, and those guys that don't like to be challenged, of course. That's why Jesus ended up being crucified, and I ended up being jailed and arrested many times, and I'm still getting threatening letters even today. But anyways, we must keep going. That's one aspect of the work we must do, to stand with the oppressed, to stand with people that are being killed. As you know, there's a genocide. There's also an ecocide, the destruction of our environment, not just in the Gaza Strip, but also here in the West Bank, uprooting of trees, etc. In the Gaza Strip, most of the trees were, 97% of them were uprooted intentionally. And there was destruction of the greenhouses, and there was destruction also of all, or most of the habitats for rare and endangered species. But this is throughout historic Palestine, which is now called the Jewish state of Israel. an oxymoron, in my opinion, in the same way that Christian Zionism is an oxymoron. You cannot be a Christian and a Zionist at the same time. We face a bunch of lunatic monsters, if you want. We still, like Jesus said, we love them. We hope that they will find their way someday. We challenge them as Jesus challenged them. He even called them sons of the snakes and whatever. And I think we have to do that. We have to be straightforward about what's going on. But at the same time, we have to build and we have to feed people. We have to do our job of the humanitarian aid. And Reverend Tom, you showed us some very nice pictures. I won't show you any pictures. I'm glad, by the way, you're wearing a hat. You were wearing a hat like I was wearing. But anyways, I won't talk too long. I am hopeful. I'm optimistic. I've always been optimistic from my childhood. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I wouldn't be working for human rights, for environmental justice. I wouldn't be challenging colonialism if I thought it was hopeless. That doesn't mean I'm 100% sure that indigenous people win the battle, so to speak. There is actually, historically, we've seen significant losses like Native Americans and Aborigine in Australia. We've seen some successes like in South Africa with the apartheid regime. I think the odds are in our favor in Palestine for a very simple reason that more than half of humanity considers this place an important place. It's a holy land for half of humanity, more than half of humanity. 2.4 billion Christians and 2 billion Muslims. The 2 billion Muslims, they also recognize Jesus as a prophet born here in Bethlehem. So they also consider this Bethlehem area a holy land. Plus, of course, Jerusalem, where the third holiest site in Islam is present, and Hebron, where the fourth holiest site in Islam is present. So I think we need to mobilize these people. We need to speak to them, as many of you are doing. We need to encourage them to get involved and active. Our worst enemy is not the Zionists. It's pathetic people, the people who sit on their laurels and don't do anything. These are our enemies, and that includes people who happen to be born Palestinian or American or British or whatever. So apathy is the enemy, and we need to educate people, and we need to get them mobilized, and we need to get them active and engaged in things like boycott, divestment, sanctions. We need also to challenge the collaborators among us, the normalizers, the people who want us to sit with Zionists and sing Kumbaya instead of turning the tables on them, as Jesus has done. So I think we really have a job ahead of us, a job that we in Palestine have been doing for the past 8 decades almost now, and we must continue this. I'll stop here. If you would like to come and volunteer here, we have a bunch of volunteers with us today. Even we had a Christmas party for volunteers and staff. We had good food, and we had painted some things, and we worked with the children, and it was very lovely to be with such a group, a family, I called them, the family of staff and volunteers. And Judy can tell you about her volunteering time with us. the animals and the plants that we take care of, not just the human beings. Thank you very much, Judy, and thanks everybody for doing this.
Thank you, Mazin, for setting the high bar for the rest of us to release ourselves from apathy and to spend our time building while other people destroy. Thank you for all you do, Mazin. We're going to now take a time for meditation. And our meditation is going to be led by Dr. Stephen Fulder. Stephen, like several of our presenters here, have a background in biology. He received his PhD in molecular biology and was a lecturer in London at London University. He is the founder and senior teacher of Tovana, which is the Insight Meditation Society of Israel. And he's been involved for much of his life in peace work, founding the Middle Way organization. And he lives in what is one of the most beautiful places, the ecological Galilee village of Clil, which he helped to found. So please join me in welcoming Stephen Fulder.
Thank you so much, Judith. And I really celebrated your visits up here more than once. And actually, in a time of great pain and suffering and genocide and injustice, in just a few minutes, I want to invite us all, first of all, to celebrate something in us that cannot be taken away. I'm thinking here, as in my Buddhist practice, of the way the Tibetans who came out of Tibet after slaughter and genocide also there, and they came cheerful in a way over the mountains. And the Dalai Lama said, the one thing that we didn't lose is our compassion, because if we lost our compassion, we've lost everything. We lost our country, but we didn't lose our compassion. So I'm just inviting us all, we've heard each of us actually express this, but inviting us all to contemplate a little bit what cannot be taken away from us. Our houses, our culture, there's death and suffering, but there's things that cannot be taken away. And something in us is the positivity of life and our big heart. And we still can celebrate life in the middle of tragedy and pain. And I'm going to just take a few minutes, because we really only have a few minutes, that we just maybe go inside for a moment. If you like, you can close your eyes, but you don't have to. Settle comfortably wherever you are. And take a moment to feel each other. We are a small community, never mind where we are sitting physically, but our hearts are together right now. We feel each other as a small community. We appreciate each other as a small community. And as we settle into our own heart, just feel their appreciation and the love that is there. All that we've been hearing is actually grounded in love. We love goodness. We love peace. We love life. We love the spirit, the divine. And just sense it in our heart, and sense that it's also not just belonging to us, that we can spread from our heart our love to everybody, to anyone we think of, to people suffering in Gaza right now, to each other. We can spread what's in our heart. It moves, it goes out like a wave of healing, a wave of heart, of love, of caring. And that wave is always with us. It can never go. Meditation can help us to rest in the big picture of life, that things are beyond us, but we always have this big heart in us and the spirit in us that cannot be taken away. Meditation will help us to rest in that place, to appreciate that place, to allow it to help us survive and ride the waves of change and pain. So we'll just take one moment of silence together and feel that place in us that is big enough to help us ride the unexpected, the difficulty, and the suffering, and also the joy of existence. Okay, thank you, everybody. And one last word I want to share with everybody, that I've been engaged, as Judith knows, something like 30 years working with Palestinians, Israelis, all bringing people together in conflict, from conflict. And I do want to say that it may seem an impossible situation today, but everything that we do, including this meeting tonight, everything that we do makes waves in the world. We can't measure how big those waves are. We don't know where they go. We can offer what we can to the world, and then the world has to look after it. It's up to the world after that to look after. The waves just go out, and that's it. That's what we can do. So we can feel that no matter how small, we make waves.
Thank you, Stephen. I've felt that so strongly. This is one beautiful love group here. Thank you for that attunement and for the spread of the waves of love to Gaza and all over the world, to the Sudan and everywhere. And so thank you for attuning to that, because sometimes it's easier to just see the mess of the world. And thank you for your reminder to keep our focus on that which can never be destroyed.